Happy Saturday, y'all. I just want to check in. As you guys know, I've sort of started posting a little bit more, but since taking on this gig work May 9th, I believe it was, I've been sort of out of pocket. But anyway, and this week, I have you to know, I added another gig platform, which is the Walmart Spark platform, to my repertoire. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. It's not bad though, and I understand why people like it. But anyway, I just want to check in. I will be sharing my gig work experience with you guys, sort of in my own way, like lessons learned and experiences that I'm having. And one of the things that I am learning with gig work, communication is key. For example, when we as delivery drivers or couriers walk into a restaurant, we are walking in on behalf of the customer. Sorry, I just dropped my phone, you guys. We are walking in on behalf of the customer. It will be nice. Wait a minute, let me back up a little bit, because I want to preface this with saying this is not bashing any specific restaurant or establishment or anyone in particular. It is just something I've noticed when it comes to communication and customer service. Communication is key. You know, we're walking in on behalf of the customer. So at least acknowledge, you know, your patrons, your customers, whatever you call them. Render a slight smile. I don't think anyone's looking for an in-depth conversation, but acknowledgement, you know, hey, we'll be with you in just a moment and stuff. I can't tell you how many establishments that I have walked in, especially over recent days, where, you know, you get people from behind the counter, they're looking at you, but they don't say anything. They may look at you, keep walking or walking off, and I'm like, Now, there's been a couple of occasions when I've called it out in my way, and of course, tactfully and professionally. I'm not going to go bonkers, but, you know, I'll say to the person, you know, hey, when someone walks in, maybe you want to say hello, or just we'll be with you, you know, in just a moment. Because here's my thing. You never know what saying hello to a person may do, or how that might, just saying hello might brighten their day or lighten their load, whatever. On the flip side of it, I don't flip out when people don't do this. I try and not badger them and cause this chaotic scene, like give me a manager and all that. Because like I say, on the flip side of it, I don't know what others are going through. And so I try and take a balanced approach. That's why when I walk in, I'll say, hello, how are you? I'm here to pick up this order for whoever. Now, sometimes I will get those that are like, how can I help you? And I'll say hello. And then, how can I help you? And I'll repeat myself. I'll say hello. It's like me forcing them to say hello. And I might quietly say, hey, you know, you might want to acknowledge people when they walk in. And like, I had one young lady, she said, I'm sorry, I'm just having a bad day, a lot of stuff going on at home. And I said, I'm sorry, you know, and we didn't have an in-depth conversation, but she needed just that little moment. She needed someone to say, I hear you, I understand, pretty much. And that's how come I try and take the approach of bringing awareness without, you know, going overboard. Give me your manager and all this kind of stuff, because that's not necessary either. It's just, though, when you're in a customer facing environment, you need to acknowledge people, or you should. That is the appropriate thing to do. So that's one of the things that I am noticing a lot of, and where I can, I try and bring awareness, but I also try to bring the same energy to them that I want. So I'm not walking in there like, I'm on the clock, I need to get this to, you know, because they have things, it's like a whole system of things. And, you know, it could be inventory issues, it could be someone calling out. So there has to be understanding on both sides of this coin but it is an observation. So I think that's something that establishments and the drivers and couriers can both work together on and do better. And in turn, I think that makes for a greater customer experience. The other thing that I have noticed that some establishments do, and again, none of what I'm saying is to bash any particular person, any restaurant, any establishment, but just sharing my journey of this gig work thing. Is like 5 or 10 minutes before I arrive at the establishment, or even a couple minutes before I arrive, I'll receive a message that the order for so-and-so is ready. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I walk in and should be able to just pick the order up. And I'll walk in and I'll, hello, I'm here to receive the order for whoever. And they're like, oh, that's going to be another 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just received this message stating that the order was ready. But what I found out from one of the managers in an establishment, because they also have contracts with these vendors where they're supposed to meet a certain SLA for turning these meals and things around. And so I said, okay, will you please ask your staff not to do that then? Because then it gives the perception that the driver has already picked up your food and they're just taking forever doing whatever and delivering your food to them. So I said, is that something you can speak with your staff about? And also I reached out to DoorDash and let them know, because there's this one particular establishment that tends to do it more than others. And at the completion of an order, you get like this thumbs up or thumbs down. What do you call it? Prompt. A thumbs up or thumbs down prompt where you can select it and it gives you different categories you can enter a comment about. But anyway, with all that being said, I enter that comment in there. But the core of my message today, beside from checking in just to say hello and trying to say I'm still here, I'm still breathing and living and all this kind of stuff and sharing my journey, is that communication is key. On both sides, there's going to be some delays, there's going to be, challenges or trials, but in this gig space, I think we all have to exercise understanding and patience towards each other. This should not be an establishment versus drivers and all that kind of stuff. There needs to be some balance. We all do play a part in the experience in which we have. Some drivers, I've seen drivers come in and I'm like, oh, they must be having a bad day, where they're kind of angry, and then the staff at the establishment in turn reacts to that, and vice versa. So the core of this message is communication is key when it comes to customer service, and we can all do better, and we all play a part. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful Saturday, or is having a wonderful Saturday. Again, I will be sharing some of my gig work experience with you guys. None of my messages are meant to bash establishments or bash this, that, and the other. I like taking a balanced approach, and you'll see enough of the other approaches in other content creators' videos. But anyway, enough rambling on. I just want to say hello, and I hope everyone's doing well, and we will speak again soon. Bye.